Welcome back to normal baseball. Game one of the World Series was absolutely insane, and it ended in grand fashion. What a game. What a start to the World Series. Freddie Freeman walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning. Dodgers win 6-3. Lewis, what
Oh,
a game.
what a game indeed. I mean, as the broadcast said, as Freddie Freeman said, that's the stuff that you dream about when you're a kid playing baseball in the backyard. Epic moment for baseball, epic moment for the Dodgers, and most importantly, an epic moment for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, that, like you just said, that's the stuff you dream about. World Series, bottom of the 10th inning, bases loaded, down by one run. Um, what a moment. What a game, by the
What
way.
a what a moment, what a game. Yeah, let's talk about the things that led up to the Freddie Freeman home run.
Yeah, I mean, this game was as good as it gets, especially for World Series Game 1. We knew heading into this series that it was going to be a battle of two extremely good teams. This is
Yeah.
probably the best matchup you could have gotten. The Yankees got 6 innings, just one earned out of Garrett Cole, and the Dodgers got five and a third, two earned out of Jack Flaherty. So now let me ask you this really quick. The Yankees pulled Garrett Cole at just 88 pitches. Do you think they should have let him stay out there?
I'm going to say no, just because we were watching the game, and I do think that although Cole still was looking like Garrett Cole, and I think he did put on a great performance, you do have to remember that this is going to be a dogfight of a series, and you want your ace to be fully healthy if you do need him back against the wall. Like, would it have been cool to see him throw 120 pitches and go 8 innings? Yeah. But then you wouldn't be able to see Garrett Cole pitching until game five, game six.
I,
So
I see
I
what
get I get why they pulled him.
I completely disagree with you. I think first of all it was the 7th inning, it's not the 8th inning. So
No, but I'm saying if you got
okay,
him to
but
go,
that's not even the point. The point is why would you pull him after one hit in the 7th inning? Yes, it was to lead off the inning, but this is, Garrett Cole. This is your ace. This is the guy. This is your guy. And up until that point, he was amazing. He was carving the Dodgers lineup. He was forcing outs. Yes, some long fly balls, but they weren't getting out of the ballpark. This is your ace. It is the World Series. I understand, if he throws 120 pitches, but he wasn't going to throw 120 pitches. At that point, something was going. If he was throwing 120 pitches still in that 7th inning, something would have been going wrong, and there would have been another reason to take him out. He would have been giving up runs at that point. I think you have to let your ace finish that inning at just 88 pitches. This isn't a regular season game in the middle of May. This isn't let's save his arm. This is the World Series. This is he can pitch on short rest. This is the potentially last 7 games of the season, even less potentially. You need your ace to be able to stay out there. I think that was a horrible decision, and it was just one of the bad decisions I saw from Aaron Boon in this game. The biggest one obviously came in the 10th inning when he decided to bring out Nestor Cortes Jr. to face Shohei Ohtani with runners on first and second. I, again, was not a fan of that. They had Tim Hill warming in the bullpen, who was one of their best relievers who has been one of their best relievers in the postseason, and instead you pick a guy who hasn't pitched in 37 days. What do you think of
uh,
Nestor Cortes Jr. coming in there?
let's just get one thing straight. Bringing in Nestor was purely like a politics move. I think you and I both said it. Like, why not go to Tim Hill, who is also a lefty who has been pitching? Nestor all week leading up to it was like, yeah, I'm battling injury, but who cares if I have to get surgery during the offseason if that means I get to participate and help my team win in the World Series? Like, it was so blatantly obvious that there was going to be a moment where Cortez came into this game when he should not have. Sucks that it was so late into the game because, in all honesty, like you just said, Tim Hill should have been the one coming in. Hindsight's 2020. He did get Shohei out, and when you look at the numbers against Mookie Betts and versus Nestor Cortez, you say like This is a good matchup. But then Boone decides to walk Mookie Betts to get to Freddie Freeman, who, by the way, with the base against left-handed pitching in his entire career, Freddie Freeman is hitting 273. He has 89 homers, now 90 homers against left-handed pitching. He sees it well. Sure, 270 is pretty good for most baseball players. That's below average for Freddie Freeman, and Freeman is one of the best hitters on the planet. You put him in a clutch situation, game on the line. What did you expect? I think it was just a boneheaded mistake from Aaron Boone to bring in Nestor Cortes over Tim Hill.
Let me just stop you there and unpack really quick. Like you just said, Freddie Freeman's one of the best hitters in the world. I don't even think looking at splits makes a difference at that point. It was going to be a lefty either way. It was either going to be Tim Hill or Nestor Cortes. So, you know,
92-mile-an-hour fastball versus.
I understand. I understand. I'm not arguing the Tim Hill thing. I'm just saying it was going to be a lefty either way, and walking Mookie Betts, that's a decision that I truly do not understand. But I don't think this was a politics move, like you're saying it was. I don't think that's what this is. That's part of a larger conspiracy, I guess. I just think
that's my feeling.
No, I disagree with that. I think Nestor Cortes was on the roster. It was said before the game, before the series started, that he was put on the roster to come out in the late innings to face guys like Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. And those are the two batters exactly that he faced. That was before the game that was put out there. And that's exactly what they did. So they stuck to that game plan. And I do have respect for them sticking to that game plan. And I see the thought process in letting him face Shohei Ohtani, because Ohtani is what, 0 for 7, was 0 for 7 against Nestor going into that. Ohtani had not hit Nestor well. And good on Nestor. He got him out in one pitch. But then the issue is
compact pitch too.
But then the issue is that Freddie Freeman came up next, and first pitch was a 94 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah,
that was just absolutely cranked.
And what makes it even more annoying is that Nestor's numbers versus Mookie Betts. Mookie is 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Like, why not take your chances on facing Mookie?
Right. I agree.
Over if you get the hit anyway.
I agree. I mean, I guess they thought in that situation, let's do lefty-lefty matchup instead of righty-lefty. That's definitely what they were thinking. They were definitely thinking for the matchup. I mean, Boone said after the game, he defended his choice in bringing in Nestor and said, we like the matchups. And it's true, because that's why he was on the roster in the first place, to face Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. And that's when they brought him in. But at the same time, Freddie Freeman is 3 for 7 with a home run against Tim Hill. So Freddie Freeman hits Tim Hill better than he hits Nestor Cortes Jr.
Yeah, I still would have taken my chances with the guy that has pitched in games.
No, I agree. I think the decision makes sense when you look at it on paper. Like, Nestor had better numbers against the guys that they were intending him to face. I think they knew they were going to walk Mookie one way or another. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it makes sense when you think of it that way, but it doesn't make sense when you factor in that Nestor Cortes hasn't pitched in a game in over a month, 37 days since Nestor Cortes last pitched in a game.
Oh, that definitely makes it the X factor. That's the whole reasoning as to why I believe everyone was like, why bring in Nestor? Like, the numbers and everything, like you just said on paper, make sense, but the fact that he has not seen game at-bats in almost 40 days is what was the difference maker for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about, though,
well, by the way,
going into the bottom of the 10.
I just wanted to mention, too, that Shohei against Tim Hill, Shohei is 1 for 5 in his career, single, I believe it was, and Mookie Betts is 2 for 5 with the homer. So again, I mean, all the matchups kind of did make sense there to keep Nestor in. Then the question just or to bring Nestor in the first place, but then the decision, or the blame rather, just becomes on that decision to walk Mookie Betts instead of pitching to him. So there's a lot of different things you can blame, a lot of different routes you can take to make that claim or argument and put the blame on Boone. Um, yeah, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, no problem. The Yankees though were winning that game going into the bottom of the 10th off of the back of a Giancarlo Stanton monster home run early in the game. And then the thing that I really want to talk about was the base running display that Jazz Chisholm showed the entire world, because that was impressive. We were watching the game and Jazz gets a single. Obviously, you have to steal. It's a tie game. You got to get the chains moving. You cannot round into a double play, eliminate the double play ball by stealing second. He takes second with honestly a few steps to spare. Will Smith, notoriously like, has been not the best, but has been a good defensive catcher. Did not put on the show that I was expecting out of him. Had a good throw, but was slow to get up there. Jazz took third, no problem, and came around to score. And that's how you generate good offense. And that was really, really impressive out of Jazz Chisholm, who we saw, what was it, in the ALDS or the ALCS, got picked off at second base.
Yeah, that was the ALCS. That was the ALCS, and yeah, Jazz had 3 stolen bases last night, which if you're looking at this trying to take positives out from the Yankees' perspective, you could say, yeah, look, Jazz was 2 for 5, and we really need Jazz to pick it up if we're going to have a chance here, because he's one of the guys he's hitting behind Giancarlo Stanton, who I was going to mention. Giancarlo Stanton, playoff Giancarlo, is another big positive. An absolute tank of a homer.
Murdered that baseball, 140 feet on the apex of a home run. Oh my God.
To give the Yankees the lead.
Off Jack Flaherty, too.
So there are still some positives to come out of it. Obviously, the big positive for the Dodgers was they did have a lot of base runners on. And they kind of capitalized on bad defensive mistakes from the Yankees. Like that Shohei Ohtani double in the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th. When they threw it in, Glaber kind of bobbled it. It bounced he tried to pick it out of the dirt, and it bounced in the air, kind of went into no man's land in the middle of the infield, and Shohei took third. And Shohei wound up scoring. And that was huge. He scored on the Mookie sack fly. That was huge, and that was a big heads-up play from Shohei. I mean, as soon as he slid into second, he started celebrating, and immediately when he saw that ball was kind of around no other player, he took off for third. And there was no play even there.
Guys in baseball, yeah. So there was going to be no play.
He could have walked there. Glaber didn't. No one even had the ball by the time he got to third base. The ball traveled a pretty far distance away from everyone. So it's heads up things like that, and capitalizing on the defensive miscues of the Yankees that I think really made the difference in the game before they headed into extras.
Yeah, that and timely hitting. Let's not forget that Tommy Edman, who came up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th or bottom of the 10th? Bottom of the 10th, I believe. Where the Yankees, the bottom of the 10th. Yankees had the lead, right, with 1 out, and he comes up with a runner on first. The whole thing was to not hit into a double play. So what did he do? He took his chances. I think he wound up striking out anyway, but that's much better than getting 1 hit into 2 outs.
What?
Like, Tommy Edman.
No. That was another defensive miscue from the Yankees. Tommy Edman came up in the bottom of the 10th with an out and a runner on first, and he hit that ball to Oswaldo Cabrera, and Oswaldo dove for it and couldn't handle it. So then suddenly now there's runners on first and second with 1 out. That was a big defensive miscue from the Yankees too, because it looked like Oswaldo could have gotten that ball had he it didn't even look like he had to dive, to be honest, but he couldn't come up with it, and the Dodgers again capitalized, runners on first and second, and we know what happened from there. That led to the eventual grand slam.
Yes, excuse me. I got that very wrong. I'm just trying to show that I think, Dodgers took advantage. Dodgers definitely have the upper hand now, for sure. They're up 1-0. I'm excited to see how the Yankees try to bounce back, and I'm excited to see how the Dodgers try to continue the momentum.
Yeah, I mean,
because walk-off grand slam, that's a lot of momentum on your side.
This World Series had a lot of expectations to be really, really good. 1 seed, 2 big market teams. This was supposed to be one of the best matchups we've had in years, and Game 1 delivered by far.
Did not disappoint.
I mean, this was a 1-run game until that grand slam from Freddie Freeman. This was a 1-run game until the game was over.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful baseball.
yeah, it was just great. It was great. I had such a fun time watching this game. Um, Props to the Dodgers. I mean, coming out with a victory in this one. Yes, game ones are important, but this might be an extra important game one because you're going to 10 innings, you're using a lot of relievers, you're kind of showing your hand of what you're gonna do in these late situations where it's close. So you got to win the game. Like for both
Yeah.
teams, it feels like, okay, we've made it this far. We have to win now. And it felt like that for the Yankees. I mean, they got that run in the top of the 10th, and it kind of felt like, okay, 3 more outs. We can do it. We've held them to 2 runs all game. 3 more outs. Not what happened. Not what happened at all.
Unfortunately, yes, not what happened. I do think, though, if you are the Yankees, you say, hey, look, we had the lead. We were able to at least steal 3 runs off of what everyone is saying is the better pitching in this series. Like, they figured out some stuff. Sure, getting to see everyone one time, getting to see like the high leverage guys that they want to use one time is also very important. But like you said, the Dodgers showing their hand really need to win that game, and that's exactly what Freddie Freeman made sure they did.
Yeah, let me add that Blake Trinan is absolutely nasty. He's got stuff that doesn't even look real, but they were able to score a run off him. And I think it was like the second run he's given up in like 2 months or something like that, or a month.
Yeah, since like mid-August or something like that, he's been locked down for the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's got some great stuff, but the fact that they were able to score off him has got to be a confidence booster there. I think if you're looking at it from the Dodgers' perspective, I think for them you got to say let that momentum carry and let's come out bottom of the first inning of game 2 and score some runs. And then it'll really feel like, hey, we have some serious momentum that wasn't just last game. It wasn't just the end of last game. This momentum will carry. So I think that's really important for them in game 2 to come out and do that. And then alternatively for the Yankees, you got to just take this one on the chin and say, it's the World Series. We can't get hung up on one loss. It's game 1, but just because we lost that way doesn't mean we can treat it as if it's more than one loss. It's still one loss.
You
And
did not lose the series off
it's
of that
still
hit.
game. It's still game 1 too. Well, now it's game 2 now, but it's game 1. It's not like they're down 3-0 or anything like that. So
Yeah, if you're the Yankees, the motto for tonight's game for game 2 is going to be punch back, and it's that simple. And I think honestly, like you said, this is a meeting of 2 giant teams. There's no team that I would want on the other side to punch back than this version of the New York Yankees.
yeah, the only tough thing is that they're facing Yamamoto, who killed them in June. He went 7 no runs, 7 innings, no runs, 2 hits. So he looked good last time he was going out there against him. That's going to be tough for them. And then alternatively, Freddie Freeman's supposed to be injured. Not supposed to be, but he has been injured. And
Yeah.
he comes out and he's now suddenly the most dangerous guy out of that big 3. Because I'd say coming into the series, you're looking at Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and saying, okay, they're the 2 we have to really, really, really worry about because Freddie Freeman just hasn't had it as much recently. And now that narrative's kind of not flipped, but Freddie's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous.
The dude had a triple and a walk-off grand slam in game 1. That's epic.
Yeah,
for him.
The triple was more of a defensive thing. The triple was more of because of defense, but
it was a triple.
Yeah, but again, two really well hit balls that both fell.
Yeah,
and I would just like to say, in that spot of the zone that Nestor threw to Freddie, he's got in the regular season. I don't know if this is regular season or combined. Either way, he has a .433 batting average when making contact on pitches in that part of the zone. So
pretty cool.
It's not great. Not a great decision to throw that there. I also want to say, I said this to you while we were watching the game. Austin Wells, it just really got on my nerves that he was setting up exactly where he wanted to pitch, like 10 seconds before the pitch was even being thrown. I was like, what are you... I was just weird. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, very, very early, very methodical guy, Austin Wells. interesting play. I don't really have any insight or thought on it.
No, no, it's not.
When
It's
you
I'm not
said it to
asking.
me,
I'm not asking for insight. I'm just
I
saying
know when
something
you
I
said it
observed.
to me, it was one of those things that I did not really notice until you mentioned it to me, and then I was like, "What the hell is going on? Like, why is he setting up? Well, Nestor is still
Right.
getting set to throw the pitch."
I can only imagine what would have happened. I mean, I could say that by any point this game, but
Yeah.
what do you think of the Yankees pinch running for Gleyber Torres with Jason Dominguez, which brought in Oswaldo Cabrera, who obviously made that error or couldn't field that ball, which could have been a big difference in this game.
It's the right baseball move, but I think everybody is going to say, "Oh, why I want just leave Torres in and all that." But hindsight's 2020. You're facing the Dodgers. You have to play to get as many runs as possible, and the way to do that would be to put a faster guy on second base in Jason Dominguez. It made sense in the moment, but it just sucks that you don't have your everyday second baseman out there. You have a super utility guy in Oswaldo Cabrera playing second.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is hindsight is 2020, especially with the Nestor Cortes decision. Because you could come out after the game and say this guy hasn't pitched in 37 days. What are we doing? What are we doing? But when you put him on the roster, right after they put him on the roster, they are committing to using him. And as far as
Yeah.
Boone is concerned, at that point, it doesn't really matter that he hasn't faced guys in 37 days. He's on the roster. You're going to use him in the situations you intend to use him in, regardless of the last time you faced batters. You can't put a guy on the roster and say, oh yeah, we're only going to use this guy if we're up by 5 runs in the 8th inning. Like, you can't do something like that, in my opinion.
You
So
can't do that
if
in
you're
the
just trying to,
postseason, and you cannot do that against the Dodgers.
yeah, if you're just trying to defend Boone a little bit, there is some basis there. I see the arguments, but I just think
Yeah.
it's still inexcusable in my opinion in that kind of game.
That's
I'm
baseball.
Yeah, that is baseball at the end of the day. I'm really happy for Freddie Freeman, though. I mean, this has been a kind of crazy season for him. He's had to deal with a lot of stuff on and off the field, obviously, with the son. So this must have felt amazing. Right after he hit it, he ran over to his dad, started screaming, and then after the game, he said, this is my dad's moment. This is what he trained me for. This is what we dreamed about in the backyard together. It's hard not to root for Freddie Freeman.
It was a great moment. Let's not.
It
get
was.
That twisted.
It was an insane moment.
It'll go down as an all-time moment.
That I'd say easily that game was one of the best games in World Series history. Definitely in recent World Series history. I'd say
I can get behind
I'd say
that.
not. You could take the recent out, and that would still be just as valid to say.
I think it might have been one of the coolest World Series moments, just because of the people. Like, if it were Shohei, it'd be like, okay, or if it were Mookie Betts, okay, but Freddie Freeman and the amount of stuff that he had to go through this season, both on the field and off the field, he earned that moment more than probably anyone else in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it would have been insane no matter who it was that hit that walk-off grand slam. I mean, it's a walk-off grand slam and extra innings in the World Series, but I understand what you're saying. I see a lot of people making the Kirk Gibson comparison. Hobbling to the plate, injured foot, walk-off home run in the World Series, Game 1. There's a lot of parallels in Dodger Stadium. There's a lot of parallels there.
It was cool.
It was.
Very cool.
It was a hell of a moment. It was great. And now Dodgers have to capitalize on that. They have to win game. I'd say the Dodgers have to win game. Not necessarily have to, but I think it's really important that the Dodgers win Game 2 going into the Bronx for Game 3. Having a 2-0 lead heading into the Bronx, then that's really a dogfight there.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be loud in both stadiums. Dodger fans really showed up and made the game just as entertaining as possible. I am excited for Game 2, and let's see where it goes from there.
Yes, so we already talked about Yamamoto pitching for the Dodgers in Game 2. The Yankees have Carlos Rodon going. Rodon's been really, really good in the playoffs. But, Dodgers are the Dodgers. It's the World Series. Anything can happen.
The Dodgers are the Dodgers. I think that's a great way to sum it up.
Another thing that I wanted to mention, just one more thing before we go, was Aaron Judge had a hit, but he still didn't look great.
Yeah. I think he will come around eventually. He's too good of a player to not come around.
I was going to say, how important is it to the Yankees that he does come around, seeing what happened in Game 1?
After seeing what happened in Game 1, you need Judge, like, he needs to be playing as, like, an 11 out of 10 on the intensity level. Like, we need to see him grind an AB. We need to see him not swing at the low and away slider. We need to see him really, take the free base. If they want to give it to you and they don't want to pitch to you and they'll take their chances with the guys behind you, you take that. I think it's just more so we cannot be striking out if we're Aaron Judge. You just cannot be doing that.
All right. I mean, that's all I got. That's all my thoughts on Game 1 of the World Series. I'm really, really excited for Game 2. This series is going to be really, really good. And, yeah.
It's lived up to the hype so far, and let's hope that it just continues.
Certainly, certainly. Well, that's all we got for you today. World Series Game 1 was awesome. We will see you guys in the next one. A peace.